When someone tells you to pray about it, it doesn't mean do nothing about it. Let me repeat that again. When someone tells you to pray about it, it doesn't mean that they're telling you to do nothing about it. Prayer is not being inactive or passive about finding a solution to your problem. Prayer is not a replacement for practical effort. Prayer is the fuel. Prayer is the map, the GPS you need in order for you to find the destination that you're looking for. I learned this when I was advising a friend of mine today, because she was venting about how she couldn't figure out a way to solve the mess that she was dealing with in her family. And when I told her to pray about it, she was like, yeah, I'll pray, but I need to know what to do. And I'm like, I've just told you what to do. And she says, yeah, I will pray, but I need to figure out a way. And I'm like, what do you think prayer is, sis? Prayer is how you find a way, or you navigate through life's ups and downs. When you pray, that's when you begin to receive insights and direction for where you're going. Most people think that prayer is the last resort. And most people think that prayer is the last step to a staircase. Let me say it again. Most people think that prayer is the last step to a care. Oh my God. Why can't I talk? Let me do it again. Most people think that prayer is the last staircase. No. My goodness. I don't edit these videos, so let me retake again. Most people think that prayer is the last step in a staircase. Well, in actual sense, prayer is the first step in that staircase. You want to know how to navigate through that confusion, navigate through that problem, that challenging situation, that heartbreak, that betrayal. You want to know how to navigate through life. Prayer is the first step towards the destination that you want to take. Think of it as a map. It's not the destination, it's a map. And what do you use maps for? You use maps to help you navigate to where you want to go. So when you don't pray and you try to figure things out on your own, the likelihood of you getting to the desired destination is zero. Or is actually zero, because God is the light. The Bible says in Isaiah that the one who is writing the book, I'll find the verse and then because I don't edit these videos, I'll find the verse and I will write it as the title of the video. The Bible says in Isaiah that the sun is not my light by day, nor is the moon my light in the night. That God is my light. So I am not seeing through the light of the sun. I see by God. God is the lens, the light that we use to be able to navigate through this unpredictable, complex life. So prayer, when somebody tells you, the next time someone tells you to pray about it, they don't mean sit down and do nothing. That's not what they mean. They don't mean to tell you that there's no, when people hear pray about it, they think you're being told that there's nothing that can be done in your situation. You can only pray. Have you ever had someone talk like that? Sasa hapo, or in English. Now, for that situation, you can only pray. And that's not how we are supposed to view prayer. Our perception of prayer is so wrong, and that's why we don't pray as often as we should. We don't pray as always as the Bible instructs us to, because we think that prayer is the last resort, while it is not. It should be the first thing we do when we come up against challenges. It should be the first thing we do when we feel happy or we feel sad, we are in pain or we are in joy or in happiness. It is the first thing that we should do. And I think prayer is work, and we need to engage and to commit ourselves to do that work, because whenever we cultivate a life of prayer, it now becomes our default response. When you pray for a long time, it becomes your default response. But when you don't work yourself, it's a workout. Just the same way you go to the gym and you are working out your muscles. Prayer is also a workout. And when you develop your muscles, your spiritual muscles, it now begins to be an integral part of your life. You can't do it without it. You can't do anything without prayer. It becomes your natural default setting. So whenever anything comes up, by default you pray, whether it's good or bad. But we have to work ourselves to get to that point. As natural men in the flesh, we will always want to respond in the flesh. Men that are not born again, when we were not born again, or when we were not walking with God, you can be born again, but you're not following Christ. You're not following God. Right? That's a topic for another day. I don't want to digress. My point today is prayer is not a last resort. It's not the last step in the staircase. It should be the first step. It should be the fuel. It should be the map. It should be the foundation. It should be the beginning of finding a solution, not the end of raising your hands up. Most people raise their hands up and say, oh, I can only pray about it now. It's a powerful tool to help us navigate life challenges.